Hey everybody, I'm Brian.
Hello, everybody. This is Joe G.
Hey, I'm Shannon.
Hi, I'm Ron.
Hey, this is Steve.
Oh, and we can't forget about Marcel.
Oh, hey.
And we're live. Good morning, everyone.
Hey, good morning everybody. Welcome back from the holidays. Hey, we got a special guy today. We got Joe G.
Hey,
We
Joe
got
G.
Joe G with us.
We're getting an echo feedback from your camera feed.
From me?
Yep.
Now?
Okay.
Okay.
Colonel Murphy's back.
Yeah, I think we're good now.
Okay.
Oh, no, there's feedback.
And we got Joe G. We've got Brian from the D&RGW Iron Horse route. Welcome everybody back from the holidays. I hope everybody had
Good?
fantastic day.
Yeah, I think
I'm
we're
getting
good
an
now.
echo.
Yeah. Hey, Joe, mute the
We
feed.
good now?
I think we're good. I don't hear an echo.
Still?
We're good? We're good?
Good morning, everybody.
That was good opening, huh?
Yeah, you might want to repeat that, Steve.
Yeah.
I just want to welcome. Oh, are we good to go now?
Yeah, just keep talking. You know, it's like Colonel Murphy likes to interrupt us every now and then, so I don't
I
think.
just want to welcome everybody back from the holidays. We took a week off, and we've got another host here we haven't had in a while, Mr. Joe G. We've got him in the house. We've got Shannon running cameras, and we got Brian, the D&RGW Iron Horse route in the house. So we're going to continue on with our series. We've got a few other things going, but I want to welcome everybody back. We're excited. How about you, Joe? Are you excited?
Well, I'm very excited that I screwed up already.
It's all right, Joe. Think of it as initiation. This is how you get initiated.
Yeah, so if you
Colonel
don't,
Murphy comes and shakes your hand personally.
yeah, that's usually how like I walk into places and it just falls apart. And then they're like, you know what? We don't need you back anymore.
Well, at least the floor's not falling through, Joy.
Not yet.
Not yet. No. Well,
it's great to have you here, Joe. It's good to see you.
Is it sad I can actually read in this?
Do what?
I can actually read with. What do you guys reckon of this little? I guess you can call it a helmet, hat. I don't know.
Oh,
What does the guys in the chat think about it?
Oh my God. Okay.
I can't believe you can read in that.
Yeah. Anyway, so last week we were touching on with in regards to scenery and whatnot, and when you started building a model layout, you've done your planning, you've done your track work, you decided how to power it, you're up to your scenery, and now it's all coming together, and now you decide to change your mind. Everyone gets there.
And I've done that.
Oh, I'm pretty sure we've all done that.
I'm doing that right now.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure Brian is at the other end of doing that.
But he will do that. So Brian's in a good place where he can think ahead. He can go, okay, you don't have to make changes, Brian. Because
that's exactly what I was thinking, that I'm kind of approaching this area that y'all are talking about. So I was glad that y'all decided to speak about that today.
Well, Shannon and I were talking about that, and it's like, well, where do you go from scenery? And I told him, it's like, well, with me, it's like I'm tearing stuff out because after you get a look at it, it just doesn't look right, and you come up with different ideas, and that's what I ripped out half my yard, and all from a suggestion on about putting in a port scene on track. And it's like, that's a good idea. Where would I do that? And so I couldn't do it where it was suggested, but it fit great where half my yard was. Took it out.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and that's why, honestly, that's why I don't glue my track down. Or do you tell them
Well,
absolutely?
now I can't speak on I can speak on redoing stuff because the only thing on my layout I have not redone is this little area right down here, and I'm in the process of redoing it right now.
Yeah, well, I can say that I've pretty much done the same. I've done the scenery. Started getting it together. Then I'm looking at parts of the layout and I'm going, oh crap, what do I do here? What can I put here? This doesn't work. I need to change something. What can I change? And I'm pretty sure everyone throughout the whole build get to that point.
Right.
I'm really good. I'm really good at.
That's. Go ahead, Joe.
No. I'm good at screwing things up, remember? I'm really good at like putting everything together and then saying, oh shoot, I forgot something I had to do before and I have to go back and rip stuff out and redo it. So that's what I'm doing right now.
It's the same thing. But you're going to have a harder time when you start laying track, though. It's a little hard. It's a little harder to pull it out when you hand lay it. So.
Yeah, you two for hand laying stuff.
Oh, yeah.
My God.
Yeah, I'll see about the hand laying. I got one section I'm gonna try it on.
Oh God.
I've done it, and I'll
Well,
never do it again.
I encountered a very new problem that I never thought about on my passing in my terminus. It's got a slight grade on it, and so now that I'm trying to start doing some ops, now that I got my logging cars ready and I got the little sawmill in there and stuff, and I'm trying to do some ops because there's a grade on my passing. I can't do the ops properly because the cars won't rest. They roll. And so I run into, I didn't think about that, I'm new. And so my passing has a little grade. And then when I go in there to park my cars, they won't park. They roll back into the main line. So yeah, I've got work to do there.
Yeah. And N scale wheel chock would not work there. Yeah. Yeah. You know what? I've got an idea, but I'm not sure if it'll work. It was one I suggested someplace else about, fiber optic cables to hold things on the grade. Why don't you try something like that? Something
I remember you suggesting that. I remember you suggesting that.
Yeah, and maybe
you are giving me a couple ideas, Mr. Arnold.
Good.
You're giving me a couple ideas.
Yeah, all you need is something flexible, and I think it'll hold it.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the chat at the moment, so you guys keep going.
Roy Hardwick, you're funny.
Oh, hold on, what I missed?
I have to apologize. I have not looked at chat at all.
He said, "Who's the guy with the oxygen?"
Me either. I'm doing it now.
Yeah, I'm in it right now. So, yeah, we've got a couple of people on there, so which I'll mention. So we've got Norman Rowe in there with Blue Wrench. Dwight Carley says hello. CDP 1965 says hello, Roy. So I'm guessing Roy Smith is somewhere in here, which is
Roy is in the house for sure. I see him.
Roy is here.
Yeah, so we do have a few people in here in chat. But yeah, I'm just asking them, the community the questions. What have they run into? What have they done to, when ideas do change, what have they done? What have they changed? How did they approach it? So yeah, I guess we can pick on you for the minute, Steve. Everyone's been watching, who has been watching your channel has seen your layout, how it's grown. So, what are some of the things that you've decided to change here and there, and how have you approached them and how have you changed them?
Well, I've changed everything because it never really started. Well, it started, as a single loop. So I've changed everything, but I was fortunate enough to be able to add on to what I did. But then I got a little more room with the yard, and that was something I was able to add on. I didn't have to change much there. I did have to change some track work that didn't work to access the yard, but I got it going pretty fair. And then I get this crazy wild idea of doing an upper deck with a car float. And because I had a suggestion, for putting in a port seat between the two power packs, and I thought that was a good idea. The room just wasn't going to happen. For once I put, I did a mock-up of a barge ferry with the amount of cars on it. It's like it's not going to fit where I thought. So as much as I wanted to do it, I figured, where am I going to do it? And it's over in my yard. So I ended up ripping out, probably a third of my yard to put in a port scene with a car float ferry. And I think it's going to work pretty decently to transfer cars between an upper deck. Just, be able to move cars on and off layouts. So that's been my biggest change, and I'm kind of working on that for a while because it's coming along pretty good. So I've kind of backed off on painting mountains and scenery and started working on this barge ferry car float deal. So that's kind of my evolution on it. But
I want to say,
Mhm.
I'm really good at cutting you off. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's
Nah,
that's cool.
it's a given, Joe.
You have to.
Yeah.
It happens.
Well, I just want to say I absolutely love the car float idea and how you made yours look. It looks fantastic.
Well, yeah, because you got to do the same thing. We're going to have to compare notes because you're modeling, Alaska Railroad's car floats. So you're going to be doing the same thing in HO. So I think we're going to have to definitely compare notes.
Yeah.
Just looking in the chat, I've noticed a couple of the guys like Roy Smith from Panama. We discovered changes we'd like to make in our track plan after running our trains for a while.
Bingo.
Yep.
Mhm.
Sparky said, replying to Roy said that lay the track, run some trains for a while before you make anything permanent, which is a good idea. So that goes back to track planning. When you're laying your track, you can fix it down, but when you're doing your scenery, don't ballast it. Have it so you can rip it up if you need to, kind of thing.
Yeah, because you're going to lose it. Yeah, and that was my problem. If you ballast it, it's gone. You're not going to take it.
Actually, in saying that, John 2618 has pretty much said that. Don't ballast until you are happy with the operations.
Who said that?
John 2618.
Okay, John. Yeah, exactly. I would totally agree with that.
Yeah.
That's a great suggestion.
I love that theory because that means I don't have to ballot for a long time.
Well, and also that goes back to something about should you when you're laying your if you're doing flex track, do you glue your track down or do you pin it? I looked that up for a long time. Do you tack it down or do you glue it? But I figured once you glue it, it's permanent, man. It's hard to take out. I can but that's why I mine.
It's easy to come out if you glue it. You use PVA and alcohol, a little bit of alcohol to the mixture, and run a bead down there. And then if you want it up, you just wet it and it pops right up.
Yeah, great.
But that's
There's a lot of cleanup after that too.
Yeah, all I have is I need is a pair of needles to pull up the pins, and I change the track. And if it's permanent, know, the stuff that I decided that is permanent, I ballasted, glue it, and then I pulled the pins out. Then it's done. It's rock solid, and it ain't going anywhere until you rip it out. So that's why I chose not to use glue or or anything to mount my track to my cork. I just use the pins because I'm changing stuff all the time.
Hey, Brian. Hey, Brian, you there?
I saw that. I'm going to move my mic away.
All right, easy done.
I just want to go back and talk about something that Roy Hardwick said about the hydraulic scissor lift.
Oh, yeah.
Going from one level to another with your barge float. I was looking into some things and I saw somebody, I don't remember his name, on YouTube, and he used it's a electric jack, and I think they use it for TVs when they're mounted low and they pop out of something.
Yeah, I know the system you're talking about. I know exactly what you're going with this, and I've seen it done.
So
I've seen it done. I think it's the same video you've seen.
It's really cool, and it's electronic. You just hit a button, it moves up and down. So they're not that expensive. So I was looking into that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think there was I think the same guy that you were watching, Joe. I know for a while there was a guy on Facebook. He was doing a lot of updates on his barge where he had a multi-level barge that he made. And yeah, it went from one level to the other, and yeah, at a press of a button, yeah, it just corkscrew lifts the whole barge up to the top, and then brought it back down with another press of a button.
Yeah, and if somebody does, is limited on space, that they can't run a continuous loop on a railroad, that's a great idea for doing, switching ops, between different. Yeah, you could have 3 or 4 levels and, on just a wall of your house.
Yeah, well, if you
can.
Sorry, go.
It adds that time frame, extends the time too, because you can only fit 6 or so cars on there. So you have to move a 10 or 15 car train. It's going to take time.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Anyway, before we get too sidetracked with barges and whatnot, I guess I'll touch on
My fault.
Nah, it's all good. I'll touch on with a few things I've done. So, in regards to today's topic, and applying that to my layout, one of the things I ran across with mine was I got most of the scenery down. Half the buildings were half made, and then I had just this one section. It was probably, I don't know, about that much area. I'm trying to figure out where my camera is. About that much area, and for about 18 months I was staring at it, and going, what the hell can I put on there? I've got like a little bit of a roadway in there, which I was gonna put a factory in there, but I didn't want to put a factory because I had enough factories on my land. I'm like, what can I do? And then eventually I got the idea of doing a junkyard, and as soon as that happened, I'm like, right, where's the water? Where's the alcohol? Where's my scraper? And I just ripped up that whole area of scenery, cut up plaster, you name it, and I just remodeled that whole section, and that's what it comes down to sometimes, sometimes when ideas change and when things come together and you look at something, it gets to a point where have I designed my layout where if I need to change something, is it going to affect the whole thing? Or am I going to be able to just work on that one section and just rip up the whole section?
Well, yeah, and you're talking about changing the whole thing, and that's what happened with me with putting a barge in there. That changed everything because now I could do switching ops, and it's all justified because I didn't have room to put more than I think 3 or 4 industries that looked realistic, but with being able to move cars on and off layout, it justifies, some switching ops now that I can do. And that actually it expanded a lot of options for me.
Yeah. I guess the other thing as well, talking about this, in regards to ideas changing, here's the four of us. I've been financially supporting this hobby for the last 12 years now. You guys probably in a similar boat, and in saying that, regardless of how much planning we do at the start and how much preparation we do at the start, we get to this point and it's always the same thing. We get to a point like, okay, that's not going to work. I've got to change something. What can I do? How can I change it? And it gets back to that whole, back to the start, planning, what's going to come next, how you're going to approach it, what are you going to do, and what needs to be done, and it's just a never-ending process that a lot of new modelers, they get into it, the hobby, and then they don't quite click onto it straight away.
And as you go, you get more knowledge and you get better at things. So you want to go back and make it better and fix things. I'm having the same thing, and it doesn't have to do with scenery, but wiring. I did not understand that or know it, but I laid some wire. And then now, as I'm going through, I'm understanding it. And so I'm going back and redoing all that.
Well,
your knowledge base gets better.
Well, yeah, and it goes back to access for wiring, and that you had the same problem that I did, Joe. I mean, I watched your video about when you had raised up some plywood and had wiring in the back, and you couldn't reach in to get it. And
I've seen that video.
And I totally related to that because I had the same problem with my mess that I had just laid straight flat, originally on my desk with plywood, and I couldn't access. So I raised it up on 2x4s to the point where I could reach underneath there to get the wire. I think it was shorter than you were dealing with because you had a long reach to get back to your switch wires. But I saw that and it's like, man, that solved my problem. So I don't think I ever mentioned that, Joe, but yeah, you solved that problem for me. I mean, it was a problem for you.
Yeah, it still is.
Yeah.
But that's one thing. If I were to redo it, I'd change my bench work because now I know I can't do what I did.
Yeah.
And yes, Spark, you can teach an old dog new tricks.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like Shannon says, that goes back to planning and, your bench work. You got to be able to access stuff. You got to be able to get to it.
Well, that's the thing, like with most model grail rotors when they first start off, like I know I did, with my first layer that I built from scratch, it worked. It was simple, but, I got to the stage of, I did all the scenery and I looked at it and gone, okay, I need to put this in here, but I can't because it is, 2-inch thick bloody solid wood, and then I've gone, bugger it, I'll just, place a couple of buildings on top, put some legs on it. Then it stayed outside under the veranda for a good, 6 months, and then summer came across, the sun hit it, and next thing, bang, all the tracks started springing out of the tires because of expansion from all the heat from the sun, and then and that got me to, got to the point where it's like, okay, well, I guess now it's time for me to start all over again, and as I said, 12 years later, current layout I'm on now is layout number 6. Yeah, number 6.
Oh my God. So we're talking, if we could go on a sidetrack with layout mistakes, that would be another good subject. What you learned from the
That would be like 5 episodes.
That would be 5 episodes. Yeah.
Oh yeah. We could.
Well, I'm sitting
field
here.
day on that one.
I'm sitting here thinking about it, and I don't honestly know how somebody new to the hobby could properly plan a layout, like from start to finish, and not have to change it. I don't know if it's possible.
I would agree. Yeah.
I mean, because you gain so much knowledge throughout the course of doing it, you're going to change. I don't know. I mean, that would be really hard to properly plan a layout from jump that you're happy with.
Yeah. Well,
and the other thing, you can, so like when I watch videos and I'm like, man, that's a great idea. I'm going to do that. And then I go and do something on my layout and I don't do it. And then I go back, I'm like, oh man, I should have done that. I knew I should have done that. So, you know, you forget to do things and you have to go back anyway.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like, you know, like we can put the question back to the community. You know, like, I, if I had to take a guess, I can assume most of everyone who, when they first started model railroading, as soon as they got to the scenery and it all starts coming together, it's when they started changing ideas. It's when things started popping up because, you know, the bigger picture is now there. It's in front of them, and they're like, "Oh wow, this is looking great, but I want to change that. I want to do this. I want to do that. You know, I want to animate this. I want to change the electrics there. Da da da. You know."
Well, yeah, because it's 3-dimensional. You know, somebody's planning their layout. They get down and they do it online, and they do a track plan or they write it out on paper, and it looks really good. But when you start building and it's 3-dimensional and you try to connect everything and it's not working, then you have to change it because it just doesn't look the same, and that's where the changes come. I think.
Yeah. Well, again.
Well, I'm getting ready to put my third turnout in 3 months right here to connect another line for the third time.
Yeah.
And hopefully it'll work better now, huh? After going through all that.
Well, as soon as I get that in here, I'm going to do something different.
Did I just
lost
audio?
Brian?
Did I just
Lost
audio?
Brian?
No, it's all good. All right.
Okay.
Yeah. Is there anything else we wanted to quickly discuss? You know, before I go to the intermission and embarrass Joe in front of the community.
No, I
just so happen to put that video up now.
Yeah.
I think we should go to Joe.
All right. Is there anything you wanted to say about this video, Joe, before I put it up? Whilst I set up anyway.
No, I think I'm glad you guys asked me to do that because it's just a nice little overview of what I got going on.
All right.
Yeah. Well, the only thing I would add, Joe, is if you've got any comments during the video, don't say anything because we're all live during the intermission and we can hear.
I'm gonna mute my mic.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've learned that.
Okay, guys. All right. I'll swap over to this lovely video that Joe has given us to play. So, guys in chat, enjoy for the next few minutes whilst we take a short break, and when we'll get back to it, we'll close up this subject, and you know, we'll discuss a couple of other things that we want to let you guys, the community, know about. All right.
Cool.
I'm supposed to bore you guys for the next 2 minutes, and I got just the topic. I'm going to go over my layout. Right here is a design that I did not come up with because I can't possibly conceive of how to design a layout that's functional. I made a lot of attempts and they were all fails, and so I had the track planner make me up a track plan. After going back and forth with him for some time, I got exactly what I wanted. I was able to explain to him and he knew what I was thinking, which was amazing because I didn't even know what I was thinking. I model Alaska Railroad, and the entry portion to my layout is Whittier Port. So I wanted to have that as my main focus because that's where all the cars are going to come in and out of my layout. The cool part of that is there's a tunnel 2 miles long that goes through a tunnel out onto the main track, and that tunnel also has a roadway in it, so every 30 minutes switch back and forth, road train. So I'm going to model that on my layout also, but the way it was done, the way a track planner did it, I have a nice tunnel that is not nearly 2 miles long, but it represents exactly what I wanted. And so my Whittier port is on one level, and then my second level is the main line. So it kind of shows a difference in elevation, and then gives it that space and time. Then he was able to give me enough room for one side is all yard, probably pretty much almost 16 feet long. And the other side, which is behind me, is all industry, which I was able to fit like 7 industries on my whole layout. And a passenger station. So pretty cool, really excited. It's really slow process, taking me about a year, but having a lot of fun. So thank you very much. Thank you for your time, and enjoy the rest of the show.
And we're back. Where's Joe gone? He's disappeared.
Joe's gone. You didn't like his video.
His logo's still there.
He didn't like
here.
his video.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, so
That was crazy, Joe. Yeah.
yeah, no, thanks for that, Joe.
Yeah.
What have I done? Yeah. Okay, that's gone. That's gone. Oh, started playing an ad for KFC for a second there.
Okay, so
It was hard to fit that into 2 minutes. I could have got on longer.
well, you got some great plans. I can't wait to see.
It's a good looking layout from what I could see, and like if I had the space, I'd definitely be building something like that. That's for sure.
And I'm already changing it from that. So, I mean, not huge, but it's a great resource to start with, because I made my own layouts, designed them, but then when I had other people look at them with more experience, they're like, that's not going to work, this and that. And I didn't know. So I'd rather have a good, well-working layout from someone who has the experience, and then I can put it down, and as we're talking now, you're going to change it. You're going to make it work differently because you know a little bit different, and it just doesn't work for you, or something's better. So,
well, I think that's where the community that we have just is a great resource, because anybody getting into the hobby can find information to help them, and I think that's a good thing for them to do before they even start putting a nail in bench work, is to do the research and find out. And that's why our community is as great as it is, because we help each other. It doesn't matter if we mess up and screw up, because that's the learning curve. I don't think there's anybody that's built a model railroad that hasn't screwed up, and isn't happy with it. So, that's my take on the community.
and like what Sparky just said, he comes to my house every year, and just a little bit more is done every year. It's such a slow process, and that's because we build something and then we don't like it, or we find something to change, and we bring it back, and 2 steps forward, 1 step back type thing.
Right.
But
and you try not to be 1 step forward, 2 steps back.
well, that's how I do things.
That's how I do it.
Yeah.
Well, it's like.
Well, Joe, I kind of posed a question before the break. I was like, well, how does somebody brand new to the hobby even plan right anyway? And Joe said something that made a lot of sense to maybe start with a track plan that somebody experienced made and adapt it to fit yourself later.
Yeah.
I wish I would have done that,
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, and what do you do? Because I've had a couple of people look at my track plan and say, hey, I like it. I'd like to do something similar. Do you have a track plan? And my answer is no.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have anything to share. I mean, mine is freelance, so I can give general ideas and mistakes I made, but I don't have a track plan. So that's a problem if somebody else, asks you, to duplicate what you're doing. I don't
And you
think
can,
anybody can do that. I think you need to come up with your own ideas and maybe base it off somebody else, but don't look for a track plan to duplicate. I keep it original. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think the more original you start out, you don't know what you're doing, the more money you're going to have to re-spend.
yes.
Yeah, I
So,
mean, it's a give and take, you know.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't think any of us right now want to go into how much money we have
Yeah.
thrown out the window over the last few years.
Mine's not
Well,
much.
Joe mentioned that it being such a slow process. I had somebody visit my layout about 8 months ago and visit my layout about a month ago. And though they said it looked a whole lot cooler now, they didn't see that I had made any developments because all I've been doing is redoing stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was that RC Rick?
No, it was another guest.
Okay. Well, we got to have RC Rick on here.
I still have.
Yeah, that'd be tough.
Yeah, I still don't know who RC Rick is, so I'm still in the dark about this.
It's an alter ego.
Yeah. Well, I think
he's awesome.
Oh,
we need to have him on.
He's the guy that keeps me straight, Shannon.
See, I've got so little time with Bubs at the moment. Him running around. He's got more teeth coming through. He's driving his mother nuts, not going to sleep tonight. So far, he is asleep.
And you're on fire. That doesn't help either.
Oh, don't get started. I start work back on Monday. So tomorrow after this show, I've got one more day where I get to do my own thing, and then I'm back at work.
Well, we'll try to keep you plugged into everything, Shannon.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I don't know. Is there any other ideas? We can let the community know that we might have that might be able to help them out in case they do run into these plan changes or whatnot.
Well, you mentioned about spending money useless, you're just throwing away money. I think having a plan though does help because we're always going to change that's not ever going to not happen. You're going to change something, even if you have a ironclad, plan. But I think the way I did it is you spend a little money up front to get a layout drawn up for you. Or like you said, Steve, you can go out to the community, ask someone who knows, and they can build you a track plan for free, which will help reduce that cost, hopefully, in the long run.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and another thing that can save you is to plan on your plans changing and not set things in stone like your track work and stuff like that. Plan on the fact that it might need to come up and be cleaned and reused, that kind of stuff.
Yep.
That's a good point, Brian. That's a very good point.
No, that's a very good idea. Like I definitely can say it in my experience. I've never planned anything, in the past where I'd be changing, plans, but with the last layout that I did build, I had a set plan. I stuck to that plan, and the changes that did happen, were only very minor, but nonetheless, there were still plans that I had to change.
Yeah, and you move. Don't you move structures around, Shannon, to change the era of your?
I can. I can. So at the moment, the structures I've got on there are loosely based on 1940 model structures.
Okay.
Because I mainly model 1940s, 1950s. But come further down the track, I can make other structures which fit the same footprint, which are more modern. That'll suit a later model era and whatnot. But at the moment, I'm sticking to the 1940 stuff. I have a lot of steam locomotives in my roster that I run, so so I'm not overly fussed at getting all that started up right now, so to speak.
Yeah, and that's another good suggestion for somebody that's starting. I mean, it's not, if they're going to be spending, their hard-earned dollars on structures and things like that, don't glue them down. Put them in a way that they look nice, but they're not permanent.
Oh yeah, like as I said,
Yeah.
like all my buildings are on the footprint, so I can lift them up, and as long as I keep the same footprint,
Mhm.
I can put anything there as long as it, fits the footprint.
Yeah, I'm a long way from structures, but yeah,
Mm.
you know,
Is there
My
any?
plans are to do everything in 1 foot by 1 foot squares modularly and just set them in and be able to pull them back out.
Yeah, no, that'll work.
yeah.
All right. In saying that, I guess there's not much really anything else we can really discuss about this, is there? Like we've all come to
Yeah.
consensus. Plan plan things on changing. And
Right.
understand that things will change regardless.
Sure.
And don't be afraid to understand you're gonna lose money somewhere.
Oh
Be prepared for that.
yeah, yeah. Be
Well, and
prepared.
it's not really losing money because it's part of the process of you learning.
Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
No, here we go. You're paying yourself for experience.
yeah, that's right.
There you go.
And it's fun as heck, too.
That makes it feel so much better.
Well, it's fun ripping stuff out too.
Mm. Okay,
Yeah.
guys. In saying that, we've got about just over 15 minutes left in the broadcast. So, is there any announcements you want to make, Brian? Shout outs to channels and whatnot before we let the community know what our plans are for 2020?
I do know that Claude just put out a layout update. Cowboy, dang it, I'm sorry, Claude. Claude's in chat. Let me look. I always mess his name up. Anyway, y'all know Claude. Claude just put out a layout update. That's about all shout outs I got. Steve Arnold put out a couple layout updates recently and a year end review. You might want to check that out.
Well, thank you, Brian.
Sparky's got a lot of videos out too.
Well, I want to put a shout out to you. Your video, your review. That was a long video and a lot of work.
Man, I'm sorry, y'all. I couldn't cut it any shorter.
No, I know
I tried.
It's not that it's long. It's just that's a lot of work. There's a lot of editing that went into it.
Man, I had no idea what I was getting into when I did that. I won't do that again.
I would never attempt that.
Do not try to shoot a video sequence condensing 100 videos.
Yeah, no,
Not a good idea.
I've been there, done that, trying to do what is it? When you try and fit a long amount of time in like a time.
You condense stuff, and it just
Yeah.
condense things.
I was just trying to do like a time lapse of a me setting up my layout and putting it packing it up or whatnot. So, which I actually do have to upload at some point when I do eventually condense 5 hours of video down to about 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and at the end of the day, it analytically, it's 10 of 10 of my last 10 videos, meaning it has tanked the worst. It was like 3 times the worst of any of my other videos. And it's just too long. I mean, it was just, I'm not doing that again.
Well, it wasn't too long. You just have to have 2 cups of coffee to watch it. But
yeah. Well, I mean, I'm asking people for a half hour of their life to watch that, and that's too much to ask of.
No.
Okay. Apart from that, I guess my 2 cents for the moment would be, is to the community. Like, our email is right on the screen above us. Send us your videos, send us photos, send us anything. Like if
Mhm.
you want, just put one of these on.
I love that thing.
Yeah, do a little
Yeah.
dance if you need to. Send it to us for our intermissions. And we're happy to give you guys a shout out. We're happy to let the community know who you are. Point them in your direction to your YouTube channel if you upload videos and whatnot. Um, just send us some content. Send us some content that we can use, to show the rest of the community, so everyone knows who you are, and we can all learn where we're all at with model railroads and what we're doing and whatnot. And in saying that as well, send us ideas. Go, hey, next week, guys, can you please talk about weathering, or
Right.
next week, can you talk about wiring, tools you use? Geez,
Well, yeah,
the
because
list is endless.
well, that's what you and I were talking, Shannon. That this whole thing is community driven. It's not about us. It's about you guys. We came up with the idea for the beginning model railroading series because we thought it might help a lot of people. And so I think we wound that up. So now we're reaching out to you guys for ideas because that's what we want to do. Otherwise, you're going to hear us do what we do best, and that's banter back and forth
About it, whatever we can talk about.
You're going to get tired of that. Or you're going to see our layouts, and we're just going to keep showing our stuff. It's like, no, we can't do that. But no, you guys are the heart of this channel. And
Well, speaking of that, Shannon, have you requested that they let us know some people they might want us to have on the show?
Yeah, exactly. Like
I
if
mean,
they,
that we could ask them to do.
yeah,
yeah, like luckily, Steve is good mates with Roy Smith, so we had Roy Smith on the show last week. But if you guys want us to reach out to other YouTubers, that you want us to, have on the show with us and discuss whatever, we'll do our best to try and reach out. And if we get in contact with them, we might even ask you guys to give us a hand and say, hey, can you guys reach out to this YouTuber and get them to email us because they're not replying to our emails.
right. Or if actually, if any of you guys want to be a live guest, I think that's send an email, contact us, and you can do the same thing we're doing. And we need live.
Yeah, exactly.
Live
like if you guys want to, say Joe Blogs wants to talk about weathering and he wants to be on the show and talk about weathering as well, choose a topic and actually speak about it, go ahead. We're not going to say no. We'll welcome it. We'll stand there. We'll poke and prod you, ask you 1,000,001 questions, and try and get all this information out to the community.
Yeah, and we fight Colonel Murphy for an
How
hour.
would you go about the topic? Love to have you on.
Okay.
So, again, as I said, like I could see Sparky is talking to the guys, over in chat at the moment. But Sparky, if you're hearing this, can you just, let everyone know what our email is? So then they can email us topics, ideas, videos, pictures, you name it. And let's kick this, this show into the next gear and get them to start picking the topics for us to chat about each week.
Yeah. Well, I think we
Shannon, before we start talking about the new year, let me say Claude's channel is Cowboy Valley and Timberline Junction Railroad. I didn't remember the name earlier. I apologize, Claude.
That's all right, Brian. I think you do a lot better than I would.
Yeah. Yeah, and Claude is the track lane god. I mean, that what you do, Claude, is incredible. It just scares me.
Actually, maybe if Claude wants to jump on and talk about how he lays track and teaches a thing or two about that, and then we can just look at him and go, "You're crazy, man. You're crazy."
I think, yeah. Let's have you on, Claude, and we can just watch what you do.
Yeah, he's a beast.
Yep. Is there anything you wanted to add, Joe or Brian, regarding to what I just said to the community? You know, them emailing us with any content and whatnot.
Yeah, I think.
Gonna get a coffee.
Yeah, Brian doesn't want to hear this. I think that's a great idea. I think the best part of this community is the involvement we have with each other, and what we're trying to do here is do that, get the involvement out there, have people talk to us, contact us, get us that. I think like tonight or today we had a good content and we talked about it. There was good chat. So we have this really great community and information flow. So I think that's all we're trying to do here and to keep it up. And I think we have a great base here. And that's how we grow together. And that's how everybody sees who's chatting, they sub to them, they talk to them, and it just grows it that much more. And I encourage everybody to go and subscribe to someone in the chat that they don't. I do that all the time. And then you talk to them, and then they give you ideas. And there's so many live chats out there, and that's just going to boost this community and to new levels. And everybody who has those 100 subs, 50 subs, you'll get there, you'll go up, and we'll all trade that information.
Yeah, that's a great.
But then come back.
That's a great idea, Joe. If everybody in the chat would just go to sub to one person they're not sub to, that would, I mean, if you did that every week, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Well, because it helps. I mean, that you know, you get a subscriber that makes one comment on one video, and it changes your whole deal.
Yep.
And that happened to me. You know, so yeah, it's the community, because you know their suggestions are going to drive, you know, maybe what you do or don't do, and so that.
I'd also suggest sharing this channel too, because you know we're growing and it's growing at a nice pace, and I think we're going to get there with this channel. It's a standalone channel, so this is the content we have, and it's good content. We're trying to get everything out to the community, so share it with everybody, and it'll just reach out to more people.
Yeah, share on your social medias. You know, Facebook, Instagram, Google Hangouts, Twitter. What else is out there? You know, MSN, Hotmail. Jeez. You know,
Facebook.
Yep. All right.
What about MySpace? Is MySpace still around?
I don't know.
Okay. Anyway, in saying that, we still have 5 minutes left of the show. We might be running a little bit into overtime, so I guess we should start getting into, you know, the announcements and what our plans are for 2020.
Okay, I think it's a good idea.
All right, who wants to take a range to that? Because
you pay time and a half for that show?
Say what?
You pay time and a half for that overtime?
Hang on, I'm hearing two different people talking. Now we're all looking stupid.
Nah, you go with the direction.
Okay. All right. I'll take the reins. Okay, so with announcements, you know, for whoever's still here, how many people are actually here still? We've got 38 people currently viewing the show right now. So, and saying that, we do have a couple announcements. So 2020, you know, like as we said, you know, we want to, you know, get more people on here. We want you, the community, to drive the show and to pick the topics for us. Now, in saying that, a couple of the other things we are planning on doing is giveaways. You know, so we are wanting to do giveaways on this channel. We do have something in the works that we want to try and start doing a giveaway for, you know, in the next just to give you a time frame, 6 months. We want to have it, up and going kind of thing. We're still working out a couple of logistics right now, which might take another week or two before those logistics are sorted out and we have a plan for that first giveaway. We're also wanting to do maybe, like, I know Steve Arnold and I were discussing, we want to do like an auction on a couple of items, that, a couple of us will donate. I've got a couple of locomotives, that I'll be happy to donate to auction off on eBay. I'm sure some of the other guys might have a couple of other things, and with those auctions, all that money that those auctions create will go towards future giveaways, so that way the community can get more giveaways, we can get more things going on, so that way we start to get the ball rolling for these kind of things, make you guys, the community, be able to, get a little something out of it from us, us, the team at Back on Track. Now,
because we also want to. I don't know if we mentioned the keychains that we want to do. Shannon, did you mention that?
Yeah, I was gonna get you to talk about that quickly right now if you want, Steve.
Yeah, we have an idea for some keychains available for maybe purchase for $5-6 to help fund the giveaways, and that's something I'm going to make. It'll be out of inch and a half scale steel rail that I can do up at Train Mountain. So I want to make those up and make them available for the community at some point and some way that they can purchase and help fund, our giveaways. Because that's kind of what we want to do. Keep you guys involved. That's it for the keychains.
Yeah, exactly. We'll get these keychains sorted, and once they're sorted, we'll let you guys know how you can purchase them and whatnot. And again, all that money that does come together from that will go towards, getting other items so we can do future giveaways and, grow this channel. Maybe we might even invest it in making a few t-shirts, mugs and stuff like that. So that, again, you guys can purchase that from us. And then again, that'll just snowball into more profits to fund future giveaways again. Like, all this money we'll be raising isn't gonna come to us and go into our pockets. It's all gonna stay for this channel, for the community, full stop.
Right. No, I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, Brian, I thought I'd let you do the last bit of this announcement to the community on how else it can get involved. Right?
In regard to emailing us, or are you referring to the other live streams in the community?
No, I'm referring to the traveling boxcar. If you want to.
Oh, okay. Well, I could speak a little on that, but I would imagine some of y'all might have a little more knowledge. But I know we have a fantastic idea, and I didn't come up with it. I know y'all did. Shannon has an idea, and if I'm not mistaken, Joe is working on it already.
Yeah, I do have the car in my possession.
And it came from Marcel.
Okay.
I'm going to paint it up and
get ready to go. Tell us more about that. You know more about it than I do.
I met with Marcel yesterday. Had the great pleasure of hanging out with him, and he gave me the boxcar that we're going to paint up, put the trackside or Back on Track logo on it, and then we'll get it boxed up nice and safe. And from what I understand, we're going to send it out to everybody, and everybody can take pictures of it. And I know there's kind of rules of just kind of being nice to it, don't mess it up, and keep it good for the next person. But it'll be nice to send it out to the community, let people take pictures of it and share it on social media and other platforms, YouTube, and send it on to the next person.
It's also going to be accompanied by a notebook too, that people
Yeah.
can, it's kind of like a yearbook, make notes in and let us know and pass it on. And also, I don't know if you still want to do this, Shannon, and I still think it's a good idea, is having a map behind you with where the boxcar is and where it's going. So,
Like, where's
everybody-
Washington been?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I guess this nice poncho that I have up on my wall right now can come down. We can put we'll put a map of the USA and whatnot, and I'll start pinning it up. And
I think that's a good idea. That's the way
Yeah.
we know where it is.
Yeah. But yeah, in saying that, like, as the guys were saying, so the plan is we're going to do a traveling boxcar. We will have both HO and N scale. I think the one Marcel gave to you, Joe, was the HO one.
Yes.
Yep. So I'll organise the N scale one. I've got a sandblast. I'll sandblast it back, prime it, paint it white, and then send it over to you. So that way it's ready to go for you to do the final details on it. And yeah, like, as Steve was saying, there are a few rules and, instructions on how it's going to work, but that'll all be entailed in the booklet that it will be accompanied with the boxcar. Again, it's going to be like a yearbook. You date it, write your name, put a little message in it saying, hey, whoever receives the boxcar next, good luck to you. Hope you've had a great year so far, blah, blah, blah. Whatever. However you want to write it, instructions will be in there. And yeah, and apart from that, it's going to be our little way of, bringing this community together, because
Well, and I think we could do a show when we finally get it back, after it travels the globe or whatever and runs out of people. I think a show just going through the yearbook, mentioning people and what they wrote and where this car's been. I think that
exactly.
would be awesome.
Yeah, so in saying that,
Well, would it be really cool too? Would it be really cool too is if, like, maybe we did the intermission could be like featuring the layout of the person that had the car or the people, because it'll be two.
Yeah,
we could kind of integrate that in there. That would be cool.
That's a good idea.
Well, that's the thing. Like,
I might have already thought of that.
In the instructions there will be, sections saying take photos, take videos, and send it to us. So, we can eventually, start putting the videos together, uploading that onto the channel for everyone. Sparky's just sent me a message just then where someone just asked a question if we have a Facebook page. I will be organising one in the next week or so. Just in case we need to sell everything through there, maybe. But that's not in the works just yet. But apart from that, all the details of what we've just discussed, what we've announced, will be in the description below this video after this video is uploaded. That won't happen for at least 12 to 13 hours now. But apart from that, we want you guys, the community, to be a part of this. This is what we thought would be a good idea to get you guys to come together, and and everyone, I reckon everyone will enjoy it for sure. Like if I was on the receiving end of a traveling boxcar, I know I'd definitely be happy to play with it, show it off, and go, here you go, here's the next person, you have fun with it, and go from there.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to give it up, but I'd have to.
Yeah. So anyway, apart from that, as I said, or as I guessed, we're running a little bit of overtime on the show. Is there anything else you guys wanted to say to the community, or anything else we needed to discuss quickly before I close the stream off?
No,
I want to thank you guys for having me.
Yeah.
Thank everybody for being here, and don't forget to check out the other Model Railroad community live streams. I'm not going to go into them since we're over time.
Yep. Yeah. Thanks, everybody.
Yep.
Yeah. Thank you, and we'll see you guys every Saturday morning. You can count on us. We'll be here.
Yeah, unless something happens, because at the moment I'm the cameraman and main computer guy. So if things go wrong with me, we're going to be a bit screwed.
Because I can't do it. I can be part of it, but I can't run it.
Yeah.
So,
Brian, can you run it? Just sitting quietly in his little corner.
Maybe. We'll see.
well,
Maybe
we're
we'll
gonna
do
have to
it.
have
Maybe we'll
My
do a test.
computer's not great. As I've mentioned before, Shannon, you have your computer has about twice the power of mine, so I don't know how it would function, to be honest.
I don't even understand how my computer's doing it. It's a laptop.
Well, see, you're stuck, Shannon.
Yeah, but
We can
that
talk
has
about
nothing to
that
do
later.
Oh God.
with RAM and processor speed.
All right. I feel like we're forgetting something. I feel like we're forgetting something.
No, I think we got everything. I was going through my notes. I just, I want to personally welcome everybody back, after, 2019. The decade's over. We're starting a new one. I hope the year's going to be awesome for everybody, and I hope everybody had, fantastic holidays. And just remember family first,
Yep.
model railroading second.
Actually, in saying that, one thing I did want to mention, to any of the Australian viewers viewing this right now, as a lot of the Aussies know, there's some major fires happening here in Australia. Asked a couple of guys have been talking about it. They've been checking up on me every bloody day, going, "Are you alive? Are you alive? Are you alive? Are you not cooked to a crisp?" Blah blah blah. So, in saying that, if you guys have any Aussie friends, Australian mates that are involved in these fires, just check up on them, make sure they're okay. We've got some intense fires. I know that America, Canada, New Zealand have sent some of their firefighters over to Australia to help us out. It's getting that bad, but yeah, just if you get a chance, thank a firefighter. Say hello to an Australian, and make sure they're okay, and yeah, just prayers, support, whatever you can.
I would throw out prayers. Prayers to you guys, man. We're thinking about you, and I'm watching it every day on the news. It's just insane, just totally insane. And Joe, you being a firefighter, man, thank you, because I know what you go through too.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a shame you're not over here, Joe. Like
I stay at your house.
yeah, exactly. You stay at my house,
Yeah.
get a free feed,
Run
beer,
train.
Uh-huh.
and then you wake up in the morning, you go, bugger it, I'm gonna go fight a fire today.
The
And
house.
I've heard great. Joe looks great at a grill with an apron.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another
Sparky
story.
said that.
That's another story.
Y'all have a good weekend. Thank
All right.
y'all for tuning in today.
All right. Thanks again, guys. Thank you.
Have a good one.
See you all next week.
Thank you. Take care, man. Bye.
Bye.
Great to have you here, Joe.
Yeah.
We all